it's Jennifer, and I'm here in Virginia. Stunningly beautiful. I want to show you where I am. I'm actually at the top of Warm Springs Mountain in Virginia. I'm all by myself. And the reason I came here, as you can probably guess from the title of today, is all about the pressure that we start to feel. Usually self-imposed. Sometimes society is having its say. And maybe you felt that pressure before. Maybe you felt the pressure to be a certain way with a loved one, or the pressure to be a certain way in your relationship, or a pressure to be a certain way at your job. But you see, out here in nature, there is no pressure. Everything is just being, which is why I come here and why I'm sharing it with you, and why usually when I share with you, I'm out in nature. So there's really three things I wanted to say about pressure, and I'd love to hear if some of you, maybe the whole reason I'm doing this is because maybe you asked for it today. Maybe you felt a little bit of pressure today. For me, the first step of transcending that feeling of pressure is recognizing the physical signs. And having been a holistic nutritionist for a very, very long time, I can tell you that when your adrenals get stressed, your shoulders will get tight. You might even get a headache. You might find yourself a little snappy, a little grumpy, a little reactive, any of the 7 dwarves, of course. You may even find yourself not able to think clearly, and then you get more frustrated, which doesn't work either. And then some people can put so much pressure on themselves about not dealing with the pressure that they're judging the judgment, and that makes it even worse because you never get to the source of the issue. So my first step is always to remember that there are physical signs. As soon as I feel these physical signs, here's the next thing I do. The next thing I do is I have sticky notes all over my house, which I highly recommend that you do. Even though what those sticky notes say has now become my default, I still keep them anyways. And the sticky notes say something like this: you're not alone. The entire universe got you here. The universe thought you were a good idea. There's a conspiracy, not against you, but for you. And as long as you're conspiring against yourself, you'll never hear all the things that are for you. So you have to go out and remember, however you're going to remember, that life is happening for you. For me, when I'm in nature, all of these guys here are literally breathing in when I'm breathing out, and breathing out when I'm breathing in. I would not be alive, neither would you, if it weren't for the symbiotic relationship between these trees. For me, that's enough. It's like, how could I earn this day's worth of air? I can't. It's not an earning-based universe. It's not a deserving-based universe. Where's all this pressure coming from? The fact that I'm alive, not only do we get all this air, but just such a privilege, but also it really costs nothing. It doesn't ask us to deserve it. And it comes in these beautiful, incredible packages called trees. I just went by, they had little signs for this is an ash tree, and this one's an oak tree, as you can see. And then there's this bee buzzing around me. And it comes in these incredible packages. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it is. So do I have to deserve that? No. If the entire universe thought it was good enough to be born, thought I should be here, then by virtue of just being here, the air is provided by these gorgeous units of beauty. So once I get into the place that reminds me that, hey, fundamentally, I'm okay. It's all okay. Everything I need is right here. You know, I could sleep here. I could live off the land. The worst case scenario, all of that could happen. Of course, that's not where my head went today, but maybe for some of you that has come across your mind, like, oh my God, what if, the worst case scenario happened? So then I realize now I'm not alone. At very least, I have these trees and this vegetation. And of course, I know that there's so much more. You probably do too. So the next step for me when I'm feeling the pressure, and if you want, you can do this exercise. I find it really super duper amazingly helpful. Imagine that there's just you, okay? So if you're willing to do this, exercise, just let me know. You can send me some hearts or make a comment or whatever. But if you're willing to do this exercise to take all the pressure off right now, and by the way, take some beautiful friends with you. So let's include some people that we know are feeling the pressure right now, okay? So let's do that together. All right. So imagine that all of the things that maybe you're feeling pressure about. Okay, so everybody just breathe for a moment. Here we are together. I'm going to show you the view I'm looking at as we're doing this exercise. Okay, so right now, we're going to call all of that forest, it's the field. These are units that take in what we breathe out, both oxygen taking in and CO2 breathing out for us, and the other way around for these beautiful trees. And imagine that it's not just a three-dimensional, here, let me take that CO2 for you, but it's actually a metaphysical, let me take whatever you want that isn't working for you. So it's not just CO2, it's whatever you want that isn't working for you. My branches reach out to the sky and my roots reach into the ground, and we can transmute anything together. So if right now you give all of it, not just yours, let's pick some people in our lives that are feeling the pressure and feeling the pain, and let's actually just give it all to this beautiful, incredible sea of love and assistance. They've been handling it for years. They've been handling it for eons. Give it all out into the field. And all we're left with is us in the present moment. No future, no past. The future that you worry about, whether it will go one way or another in your relationship or with money, that actually doesn't exist right now. All that exists is now. The past, where everything maybe didn't go as expected, or you wish it had gone better, or you wish, you had a better relationship with someone, or you didn't fight with them, or whatever it is, that's all back there. Right now, we've given everything out to the field. It can handle it exponentially better than you can. And all we're left with is us, right now, standing in the field. I do this lots of times a day just to get myself in the present. Now, why do I do that? Because if your mind is worried about the future or concerned that the past will happen again, what happens is it takes you out of this moment. And the only thing that's real right now is that sun is sparkling on those leaves, and those leaves are making a sound of shh, almost as if to say, I remember a girlfriend of mine once saying, her name was Madeline, and she runs Grail Spring. She said to me, you know that the only beautiful, most beautiful sound that every mother in the world says to their child to soothe their mind is shh. And when you're in nature, even nature continues to say that sound. Shh. All you have to do is listen to the leaves. And so as we are in that space, what happens is we are also in the space of now, which is kind of like between the lines. It's where pure potential lives. So in other words, when we're worried or concerned or feeling pressure and we need ideas or solutions or something that will assist us, you can't draw from the past that got you to the problem. You can't draw from a future that you're worried about the problem happening again. The only thing you have is right now. And let's get a little metaphysics on everyone, and then I'll say goodbye for now. I just got to tell you, I so love that when I'm in a beautiful place like this, I'm not by myself, that you guys are with me, whether you share this or pass it on or you're with me right now. I mean, can you imagine not sharing this? My God, I literally am on the very tippy top of a mountain. So here's the last thing I'll say about pressure, is that we are made of atoms. Those atoms are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Those protons, neutrons, and electrons are made of quarks, let's say, if you have to ask a physicist. But you see, what we don't talk about is depends on which physicist you ask, but between 92 and 99.139% of you is not made up of anything that science has identified. It's made up of pure potential that has not yet landed as matter. They call it gray matter, dark matter. They call it dark matter. That dark matter, I don't call it dark at all. I call it pure potential. It's the potential of what could be. But you can only feel the potential of what could be by standing powerfully right now, without being pulled by the future or the past. That's why we're giving everything that's pulling on you away to the field. And then you get to breathe. And then you get to sit in the land of pure potential. And you get to maybe watch this video again and put yourself in the field and actually give it all to the field and come up with your answers as though this is just like right now, it's my place to go. To get my answers, I'm just bringing you guys with me so that you can have the exact experience of what I do when things have been pulling. And the funny thing is, when you give it to the field, here's the bonus round. The bonus round is when you give it to the field, that means you're giving it to the quantum field. That means you're giving it to your guides and angels. It means you're giving it whatever you believe. You're giving it to your higher powers. You're giving it to whatever you believe. As you're giving it out there, they're working on it in metaphysical ways that in 3 dimensions you could never. They're amplifying, they're harmonizing, they're putting things together that if you just be with your journey